Okay, we all know the holidays are going to look a lot different this year, but celebrating could still give you a much needed mental boost. Experts say there's a mix of lights, some of those holiday scents, festive, feel good things out there. Then they just boost certain hormones, which can be helpful during the stressful year. They also warn, though, that those who are already finding the holidays difficult might find themselves even more stressed out this year. So this is why we are doing this segment today. Already we made it through Thanksgiving, and if you are one of those who might be feeling overwhelmed or stressed out, it can be hard to just keep a positive outlook.
Yeah, sure. And what are some of the ways to cope with all that? Licensed marriage and family therapist Lisa Lichtenstein joins us this morning with some advice. Good morning, Lisa. And it can be overwhelming to have so much going on. Thanksgiving's one thing, but now we've got Christmas and Hanukkah. What are some ideas to keep things in perspective and kind of keep it in order?
Well, I think it's a great topic. I think that we need to think about the idea of having things planned out somewhat. So, we can easily get overwhelmed by shopping or thinking about gifts and thinking about COVID and all sorts of stuff, worrying about people and maybe missing people. And I think that we just kind of have the sense of a well thought out plan. People may have a certain amount of money they want to spend. Thinking versus impulsivity. That's really the way to kind of stay centered.
And any advice you have, because so many of the conversations we've had this week have to do with family and who we let in our bubble during the holidays for the pandemic and the stresses of trying to stay safe, but then not wanting to leave grandma out or anybody out. And I was wondering if you have any advice of how we deal with that moving forward into Hanukkah and Christmas, because they're really big deals to so many people.
Yeah. Well, I think really the way that we have to think about, like in psychology, we think about Maslow, who is a renowned psychologist, and we have to think of the hierarchy of needs. So obviously our physical health has to be the most important, right? If we don't have that, everything else, which is built on top of it, is secondary. So, we have to stay within our bubble just to stay safe. If we're feeling a sense of loss, for those that are potentially around us, know that it's temporary. If we're feeling a sense of loss for those that are not with us anymore, know that the love is permanent, right? Loss and love are the two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
And be safe and know that we'll get through this and really just take one step at a time.
And Lisa, it's also easy to really overdo it during these holidays, eating, drinking. What do you tell people to kind of keep things from getting out of hand?
I think, again, you want to have like the big picture, right? So you want to think about, okay, there's 2 weeks of December. I don't have to work, for example, and I just want to have this drink or I want to have these types of foods. So we don't want to go from our impulses because there's really not a sense of control. Instead, think in advance. Okay, I'm going to have maybe, for example, one day off where I can let myself eat whatever I want.
Got it.
And then, or I want to, instead of exercising X amount of times a week, I'm going to cut down and just do it this amount, like decrease it. Give yourself some wiggle room if you feel like you want it or need it. But have the big picture, because when we think about things that are thought out, it's much easier to follow the plan.
All right.
Okay.
Great advice, Lisa.
Lisa Lichtenstein, thank you so much for being with
Thank
us.
you.
We've missed seeing you,
My
the last
pleasure.
couple of months. Happy holidays to you and
have a
your
good
family.
holiday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take good care.